Terrence Popp here from the Lair.
No, you're not in the Lair. You're in my house.
Ah, fuck, you got me.
What's up, guys? We're going to read an article for you guys.
Yeah.
Popp is going to be home for about a week, and he's not going to have access to the Lair. So
No.
I figure we might as well read some articles and just be an asshole.
This one is really disturbing.
Yes, it is. It's called, No, I Don't Have to Tell You If I'm Trans Before I Date You. Yeah, you do.
And the alternate title would be, Oh My God, My Worst Nightmare.
Or, Oh my God, I dirt darted myself.
Yeah.
Because that's apparently what inspired this whole dealio. Some trans she-him shimp person
The she-him.
decided to respond because it looks like in 2014, some 26-year-old Filipina woman, that should be in quotes, was brutally murdered after having sex with a Marine. The Marine in question, Joseph Scott Pemberton, kind of sounds like a knight.
Yeah,
I am Joseph Scott Pemberton.
What did she-him think was going to happen?
Well, apparently, whatever she thought was going to happen, it did not involve getting strangled and then drowned in a toilet.
Correct.
He,
Wow.
he went full.
He went full retard on that one.
We're not condoning what happened. That is
No.
that is what we call a bad reaction.
That's a bad reaction?
That's a very bad reaction.
That's an over bad reaction.
Understandably, the crime triggered a lot of outrage. But while some were outraged over the nature of the crime, others were outraged by the fact that this person did not disclose the fact that he, she, him, shimp was trans.
The him, she. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it'll take him 30 seconds. At the very beginning.
It's like, oh, by the way, I used to have a Frankenbeans, and what you're feeling down there when you finger me, that's my inverted Frankenbeans.
Yeah.
There's hair growing out of it. I wax it, but I don't get it all.
Yes.
It's fucking.
There'll be some snags.
Pardon me. Well, okay. All right. Just saying.
Yeah.
And isn't Bruce Jenner going full cuck now?
I saw on the news. You know, we did that video a couple years ago called Genocide, and in the news, he's planning on getting it honed out and put back in there upside down.
He's how old? What? 66, 67?
He's way up there.
Point.
And you got to understand though, is he's taking all those hormones now at that late age. He's not going to live to be
You know
that
what it
old.
was. You know exactly what it was.
The Kardashians?
You see, the spotlight was this big in the beginning, and then it started to shrink a little bit.
Yep.
And then he was like, oh, I better get my penis cut off. And now we're back. That's why he did this whole thing in the first place, is because he's trying to keep up with his fucking, petri dish stepdaughters.
Oh my God. That's just, that whole family.
It's a petri dish of clam chowder and bad decisions.
Oh my God, you're correct.
But anyway, there was some reactions. A lot of people are reacting pretty much the same way we are. It's like, look, this is not a defensible action. We all get surprised on a daily basis by shit we don't expect, but we don't go full retard and drown people in a
You don't
toilet.
pull your pistol out and burn a dude down like, oh.
That's a bad reaction.
Yeah. I overreacted, I'm sorry.
What we're saying is this is an extreme example of, say, we're taking our car down to a really bad area in Detroit, and you leave it unlocked. You're going to come out of somebody's house to either find that car gone
up on blocks.
or shit taken out of it, or up on blocks, yeah.
And then the cop's going to ask you, did you lock it? And you're going to say no, and they're going to say, what the hell were you thinking?
It's not your fault. The person who stole your shit is still an asshole,
yeah.
and they still need to be prosecuted. But you should have locked your car.
Or better yet,
okay,
parked it in the lot that's supervised.
Those people are still assholes.
Yeah, I mean, I park in Detroit.
It's $20 to park here for a game. What?
What? Yeah.
Kiss my
It used
ass.
to be $5.
Olympia Entertainment, whoever owns that company, they can smurf my ass. Is it so hard to accept responsibility for your life?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to put yourself in a compromising situation, you did it partially yourself.
You have to disclose to somebody if you have HIV.
Yeah.
Feminists have been clear about this forever, even as they're changing the definition of rape to suit their fancy. Okay, full disclosure. Full disclosure in all sexual situations, okay? Even down to how much money you make.
Correct.
Feminists are saying, well, if he lies about how much money he makes and then she finds out, that's rape because you're having sex under false pretenses, okay? This is sex under false pretenses. There's no other way to put this.
Correct.
So, I mean, she's...
I hope to God I never find myself in a situation like this.
It's bad news bears, man. We're not saying that Pemberton, this Marine, is blameless. Okay, he's not justified in what he did at all, okay? But this she, him, shimp person would be alive had she just said, hey, you know what?
Before we take it to this level.
Before we take it to this level, I'm not
gotta
sure
let
if
you
you
know the
noticed my bulging Adam's apple.
Don't they get those shaved down now? They get them shaved down?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Either way, that sounds extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah, when anyone shaves something off your body, unless it's your hair, it's probably not good.
What is so hard about that? So, I used to have a Franken beans. You know, the reaction probably still would have been, oh, hey, yeah, I'm gonna go watch Space Ghost.
Yeah, I'm out.
You know, little different, okay? We're talking about the difference between temporary embarrassment and permanent death, okay?
Yeah, you're right.
And that's all we're saying here. We're not saying that he was justified.
No.
We're saying that, hey, you know what? Full disclosure, okay? You have HIV, you need to have full disclosure, because if you don't, and you pass it on to that person, they can have your ass thrown in jail.
What is that, felonious assault or some kind of...
Yeah, it's a felonious assault.
Yeah, that's a pretty severe crime.
And if feminists are saying that, hey, this man needs to disclose exactly how much money he makes, even though we all know really why they want to know how much money he makes, okay, if that's rape, this is rape. And that dude said that he felt like he was raped. That's what I see in the article.
But if a woman feels like she's raped, the feminists are like, she was raped.
She was totally raped. I mean,
now, he feels like he was raped, it doesn't apply.
No. Pemberton himself claimed that he felt like he was raped, and that's in quotes, but I love how when she's talking about the trans shimp, women is not in quotes.
Yep.
As long as we're being grammatically correct here.
Well, which I'm not.
Just saying. He felt like he was raped because she did not come out to him. And even cis people that fashion themselves as allies, which is also in quotes, tend to feel similar. Well, yeah. If we're going by the feminist definition of rape,
that's it.
This is rape.
Spot on, man.
Sorry. If you don't like it, bite me.
Yeah, you can't have it your way and then change it when it doesn't agree with you.
Nah.
That's bullshit.
Their argument is that they're not attracted to trans people, and they should have a right to know if a potential partner is trans before dating them. The issue with this logic is that the person in question is obviously attracted to trans people, otherwise they wouldn't be accidentally going out with one in the first place.
What kind of logic is that?
I get it to a point, and this is the point that I'm talking about, okay? Because there's always gray areas, okay? I'm blind as a fucking bat, but you know who else is blind as a fucking bat? Everyone at a distance of like 20 feet or greater.
Correct.
When they're trying to judge somebody by their appearance. Because you can, you know, they get away with this on the internet all the time. You know those GIFs or whatever you want to call it? They used to fuck around with people, you know, they hold up their armpit and it looks like a woman's crotch or something, and then the camera zooms out and it's like a really hairy Indian chick or something. Okay, things are different depending on perspective. You could see a chick dancing in the middle of a club with a huge bouncing rack of tits, but once you make your way through the cloud of gyrating bodies and flailing limbs that are obscuring everything from the neck down, you're gonna find she's got a body like Jabba the Hutt.
She's in full paritis.
Yeah.
Or maybe some saddlebags, get her freshman 15 going on and her senior 45.
At the end of the day, all we're seeing here is just the further continuation of the social justice idea that women are allowed to have standards, men are not. Women have standards, men are being discriminatory.
Yeah, we're being discriminatory, and we don't even have any fucking options.
No.
You slip them by the goalie, it's game on for 18 to 21, 18 to 26 years, depending on what state you're in.
In fact, it's men who don't discriminate who wind up in baby jail.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Disgust toward trans people is ingrained in all of us from an early age.
No, it's not.
No.
Not in the school systems we have today. It is not.
As long as we're making completely unsubstantiated generalizations, we're just going to keep reading. The gender binary forms the basis of European societies. It also forms the basis of, let me see here, all reproductive life on Earth.
Pretty much, yeah. Gotta have, well, except for the one-celled animals.
Well, the one-celled animals that can divide themselves, but when we're talking about evolved, multicellular organisms...
There's always a peg in a slot, needed to upgrade to make another one. That's how it works.
That's called science. You know, the stuff that you claim to believe in while you're lecturing climate change deniers and trying to convince me of this shit.
Yep.
There's only two genders, folks. It establishes that there are men and there are women, and each has a specific role. Now, actually, genetics is what decides that.
Well, she's saying that each has a specific role?
Yeah, the gender binary establishes that there are men and women and each has a specific role. For the gender binary to have power, it has to be rigid and inflexible. Now, the gender binary doesn't have power. It has biology.
Yeah, it's just logic. It's not feeling.
It's not even logic. It is fact.
The maximum.
It is embedded.
What is the maximum range of an excuse?
0 meters. This is ingrained in our DNA, and scientists have actually, they just did a thing about
Like the
different...
Bill Nye science guy? Did you see
No,
that
not
shit?
that.
Oh my
Well,
God,
fuck that
sellout
motherfucker.
bastard.
He's not a science guy. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah?
He's a shill for the mainstream media and their narrative bullshit. This cracks me up because they just recently, just like in the Bill Nye show, they retroactively edited it to take out the part where chromosomes determine gender because science is now offensive. And now there's new science that shows that all these different predicated responses that are directly tied to gender. But you're not going to hear any of these social justice fucktards talking about that.
No.
Yes, it's logic.
Reality.
From the day that a child is born, male or female, you can hold up a doll with a face to a little girl and she will gravitate to that, whereas a boy, you can hold up something mechanical and he'll gravitate to that.
Correct.
This is before society has a chance to enforce its norms and corrupt us with its gender binary bullshit. No, that's...
Cis male bad.
Cis male bad.
Fuck off.
Gender fluid, cockamamie Frankenbean stuffed up in the hole good.
Pansexual, shut up.
Doesn't pansexual just means you're attracted to everybody?
Yeah, I don't understand.
There's a word for that called a hooer. Trans people, oh, well, I love this. We learned that if you have a penis, you're a man. If you have a vagina, you're a woman. Congratulations, you understand basic biology.
That's exactly how it works right there.
But then, trans people are walking refutations of this concept of gender. No, you're not.
No, you're not.
You are walking cosmetic surgery. Your DNA is your DNA. No amount of plastic surgery, hormone replacement, none of that is going to change it.
Nope.
Bruce Jenner can pump himself full of all the hormones that he wants. Eventually, he's going to die from it. And after he does, his DNA will still say that he's male.
That's right. They're going to check the M box.
Because that's science. Sorry if you don't like it.
Science is bad.
Science doesn't give a fuck about your feelings, and neither do we. Oh, our existence threatens to undermine the gender binary itself, and for that we are demonized. No.
I mean, to demonize somebody, you have to actually give a fuck.
Demonizing someone implies fear and hatred.
Yeah.
There's no fear and hatred here. If anything, I would say that...
It's indifference.
Indifference, or at the most, I would say that feel sorry for you.
Yeah, there's a lot of
because it's basically what they've done is they've attempted to normalize what is inherently a mental illness.
Correct.
Gender dysphoria, which used to be classified as a mental illness until social justice came into fruition.
Well, I mean, Johns Hopkins won't even do the surgeries anymore because they recognize that the suicide rates before and after the surgery are not affected.
It is astronomically higher than the general population. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is.
I mean,
and the numbers back up what we're saying, not what you're saying. Sorry. I'm not sorry.
Yeah, I don't really say I'm sorry that often.
Yeah, fuck it. The justification of transphobic oppression. Oh, there's their favorite word again.
Oppression.
Oh, I'm so oppressed, therefore you need to give me free shit. And I'm not responsible for anything that I do, even though it completely flies in the face of the same social justice that I try to enforce on white men. I love this here. It's often that transness is inherently disgusting. Well, the idea of cutting a dick inside out and turning it into a vagina that constantly grows hair internally, that is pretty disgusting.
Yeah, like female circumcision, male circumcision. You're cutting off a part of the body which doesn't need to be cut off. There's no reason for it.
But don't tell a feminist that.
Oh, yeah.
They'll talk all about female genital mutilation is the worst thing ever. I love Islam. The trans panic defense still exists to this day, and the only state that it's not legal is in California.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that makes sense.
I would like to look up exactly how many people have gotten off of murdering someone because of this defense. Okay.
Yeah, I bet you it's nobody after 1970.
Yeah, like you can throw this out there and that's just fine, but if there's not actual stats to back it up, I mean, educate me if you must, please. I know that's what you social justice warriors love to do.
Give us the source.
Our culture constantly reinforces the notion that transness is undesirable. For example, there's a common trope in fictional media in which a male protagonist is tricked into sleeping with a trans woman. Yeah, that's happened in one film. The Crying Game.
That's it.
And
I got ambushed with that one. It was terrible.
Do you know of any other films, anything on television that since 1992?
That was 93, I think. It was 93.
You know, if you're gonna write shit like this, research it first.
Source it. Thank you.
Just saying.
Otherwise, it's tripe and dribble.
Thus, not being attracted to trans people is deeply transphobic.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, if you don't like trans people, you're not into that, you're a transphobe. You're scared of them. Shut the fuck up.
So by that rationale, lesbians are manphobic.
Because they don't like men.
Because they don't like men. Yeah, that's really, really offensive. And I'm going to have all lesbians locked up in jail, please. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And we're moving on to more unsubstantiated bullshit. The entire notion that someone isn't attracted to a group of very physically diverse... The entire notion that someone isn't attracted to a group of very physically diverse group of people... Okay, so it's not my fault. She just can't fucking write. It actually says the entire notion that someone isn't attracted to a group of very physically diverse group of people. Okay.
What?
The department.
I can't say anything. I'm fucking.
I know that, but the Department of Redundancy department is calling. They want their grammar back. The notion that someone isn't attracted to a very physically diverse group of people because they are trans is built on fear and disgust of trans people. Okay. Most dudes don't really go out to the club looking for the fat, morbidly obese Wamalos.
Not the morbid.
Right? We are biologically predisposed to find an attractive hip-to-waist ratio as like the golden standard. Because once again, proving your point that all the universe comes down to...
Math.
This is why we use math on this show. If it's... Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous.
I don't understand how that we even got it.
None of this means it is transphobic to not be attracted to individual trans people. Okay, you had to throw that little bit in there just to save face. It's got to be.
It has to be.
Because, well, you know, we still have to uphold the notion that women are allowed to have standards while men are not. So it's like, oh, well, it's standards when it's about an individual person. No, at the end of the day, there are people who don't want to date black dudes. There are, you know...
just not into it.
Just not into it. And it has nothing to do with fear and disgust.
No.
It has everything to do with standards, or not even personal preference. If you're going to throw out the argument that I was born this way, I can't help what I'm attracted to, you can't only have it apply to certain groups of people.
Actually, I'm coming up with a new title here called Math Attraction.
Math Attraction.
I'm going to work this out. This is just another example of pushing that shit down everyone's throat. And it's just psyops, trying to make you believe, you know, feelings are reality. It's not.
It is transphobic to claim to not be attracted to all trans people.
Are you out of your goddamn...
It's not. The thing is that the very word transphobic negates this. Because the word phobia means fear. Okay? I am not afraid of sleeping with a trans woman. I just don't fucking want to. Just like there are women out there who just don't want to sleep with a man unless he makes $70,000 a year or more. Okay? It doesn't mean that she's afraid of poor people. She doesn't bring a taser with her just in case she spots a homeless dude peddling for cash on the corner.
Nope.
She's just a hooer. That's why men lie about how much money they make, is so that they can bang those chicks and not call them in the morning. Then they get thrown in jail for rape.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
I mean, back in the 70s, I mean, rape was you could get capital punishment for that. They could shoot you by firing squad in some states.
Well, that's when rape was actually the definition that most of us still accept.
Correct.
Now it can be anything that I want. You know how you spell rape in today's feminist culture? R-E-G-R-E-T. So when a cis person argues that a trans person has an obligation to come out to someone before dating them, they're saying that trans people have an obligation to accommodate their transphobia. No.
It's just called full disclosure.
It's full disclosure.
It's nothing to do with fear.
It's like if the same social justice culture that insists on full disclosure for women in all facets of their sexuality because they're the perpetual victims has to hold here.
Yep.
You don't get special treatment.
If that's the standard that they want to use, then it goes both ways.
If you want equal rights, equality, the kind of shit that you're always lecturing white men about, okay, has to apply here. Sorry. No, actually, no, I'm not sorry. So fuck that. Claiming that trans people are obligated to come out reinforces the idea that not being attracted to trans people is reasonable. Let's take that word reasonable and throw it out, because attraction is not a reasonable thing. You're attracted to what you're attracted to.
That's
You
it.
like what you like, and you don't need reasons for it. Isn't that what women tell us all the time?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I operate the same way. You know, I'll be walking along like, hey, all right.
Like, hey, how you doing?
Hey.
I like that ass. I don't know why, but I do. You know? Look, you can rationalize the attraction after the fact, but immediate attraction is split second.
Yep.
You like what you like. There's
It
no
is what
reason.
It is what it is.
If reason was a part of attraction, then we wouldn't be, doing a whole bunch of stupid shit in our 20s. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
As I've pointed out, not being attracted to trans people supports the idea that transness is disgusting, which is the basis for transphobic oppression. There's their favorite word
Oppression.
again. Oh, I'm so oppressed.
Victim-
Therefore, I cannot be held responsible for my own actions like a competent adult. Wham. Seriously, this is like a 2-year-old trying to lecture an adult on saving money. Okay?
Or why they won't eat spinach.
They don't know why.
They just hate it.
They just hate it. They don't want to be held responsible.
Doesn't work for them.
Wah. I don't know about you, but as soon as I hear the word oppression brought into any kind of context
off
of
on
this
me.
now, I'm done.
Yeah. Check out.
Well, I'm oppressed because I'm like,
Done.
I'm done. They're playing the same old movie on this channel. I got to watch something
We're
else.
ejecting from the plane.
Fuck this noise.
Wow.
It's like, now, you ready for this?
Okay.
It all leads into this one paragraph here that is my favorite.
All right.
All right. The one scenario in which I would say a trans person should disclose their trans status is if they're going to have sex with someone and are unsure if their partner is attracted to whatever genitals they may have. In that case, it's courteous for a trans person to come out and avoid any awkwardness during sex. You just invalidated your entire argument in 2 sentences.
Again.
Because isn't this exactly what we were saying?
Yeah.
You owe it to the person that you are going to sleep with to have full
Full
disclosure.
disclosure.
All this up here, so this is this tiny paragraph here, everything else above it, pure bullshit. And invalidated by your own rhetoric. It's good times. But even then, a trans person isn't lying if they don't come out and their partner is certainly not being raped. Yes, they are lying. And
If
if you're going by the feminist definition,
It is.
it is rape.
Correct.
So you can thank social justice for invalidating all of your logic.
Yes means yes.
It is easy to look at the story of Jennifer Lawd and claim that her death was due to the actions of one bigot, but it's more complicated than that. No, not really.
No.
Because
One guy stuck a chick's head there, or
I guarantee you could put 100 dudes in this exact same situation, 99 of them would not kill her.
Yeah. There might be a punch thrown.
There might be like, hey, what the fuck? They might throw some shit. They might go roid rage and full retard, but they're not going to kill her.
Yeah. I mean, full retard is killing.
Pemberton was
They'll go semi-retard.
semi-retard, yes. Semi-retard, not full retard. Pemberton was the product of a society that told him that disgust towards trans people was reasonable and natural.
No, not in today's society.
This
no.
is the same mentality that you hear when you hear feminists talking about the patriarchy, okay? It's mythical, it doesn't exist anymore, and talking about it constantly is not going to make the unicorn appear in your backyard,
No.
okay? You're making broad sweeping generalizations about everyone based on your own prejudices against people that don't want to sleep with you because, God forbid, they have standards. Okay?
God
Who's
forbid.
really being prejudiced here? I have to ask. Every single cis person that says trans people have to come out because they aren't attracted to trans people feeds into the system that caused Jennifer Lawd's death. And until those cis people acknowledge their complicity in that system, there will only be more like Jennifer Lawd. No, not really.
People are going to get killed. I mean, you're never going to get rid of evil. It's going to happen.
You know what? You write another article about the white dudes who just got shot at the baseball game and how you're shedding tears for them, maybe I'll listen to you. But you don't care about them because they're old white men.
Hell, cis guys, yeah.
I'm just they're old cis white men.
And who don't have a say in how your genitals work. Yeah.
I gotta say, who came up with this cis bullshit? Just being called heterosexual used to be enough.
Yeah. Oh, he's hetero. Oh.
But now he's cishet.
What the hell is that shit? I just don't get it.
And when you ask them for clarification, they say, well, cis is short for cisgendered.
What the hell's cisgender?
That doesn't explain anything.
Why don't you just say normal gendered? What's wrong
That's
with
like
normal?
saying, well, Pop, how do they make potato chips? Oh, well, they make them from potatoes. If there is an ignorance in our culture, it's not from people who think that there's two genders. It's from people who want to try to enforce their wishful thinking and victimhood mentality on those of us who know better. I'm just saying.
There you go, cut and dry. Cut and
So, I don't know. If you guys want us to do more article takedowns like this,
send them to us.
I don't know what you want. We'll take suggestions for what you want us to call, like this little show segment, article assholes or whatever the shit, media missiles.
So fucking stupid.
I always come up with like, alliteration or whatever.
Oh
But either way, at the end of the day, it's all pop culture. It's all good times. You see the shirt right there? Race Riot Apparel, 10% off. Link
Links
is
below
in the description. And they're doing a profit sharing thing still. If you guys have a design that you want to make, we got a couple actually that were done for us that got submitted to Race Riot.
Yep.
And he'll cut you in for some profits.
Yeah.
So not a bad deal.
Money's a good thing.
So
All right.
you got to do your send off here. So what is it? Don't go to the ground.
Don't drink and drive. Don't drink and swim. If you fight, don't go to the ground, and never fight alone.
And if you use a condom, take it with you.
Yeah.
Because she'll sperm jack that shit.
Yes, you will.
Every time.